London, 1897. A city wrapped in fog, secrets, and silence. Carriages echoed down the cobblestone streets. Gas lamps flickered like dying stars, and behind every curtain, whispers stirred. The empire was strong, the queen untouchable. But behind palace walls, a crime was about to unfold that even Her Majesty could not ignore. His name was Charles Hensley, the royal butler. Polite, precise, invisible. For 15 years, he served tea, carried letters, and overheard conversations that could topple ministers and ruin dynasties. He knew everyone's secrets, but no one knew his. He was the man everyone trusted, and the one no one ever truly saw. Late at night, when the palace slept, Charles would sit by the dying firelight, polishing silver until it gleamed like moonlight on still water. He was meticulous, obsessive, and beneath that quiet exterior, something darker simmered, something only one person ever noticed. Her name was Lady Margaret Wexford, elegant, ruthless, and untouchable. A widow of considerable wealth and influence, admired by the Queen herself. To the public, she was grace embodied. To her staff, she was terror in silk gloves. Commands came laced with charm, punishments cloaked in politeness. And yet, Charles obeyed her every word. They said she teased him, tested him, drew him close, then laughed in his face. He'd bow his head, swallow his pride, and return to his duties. But behind that polite smile, resentment grew like rot beneath polished wood. Rumors began to swirl, quiet ones passed in hushed tones among servants, that Lady Margaret had secrets of her own, that she was involved with men of power, and that Charles, in his silence, knew too much. Some said she held letters that could ruin reputations, even the Queen's nephew. And Charles, ever loyal to the crown, began to fear what might happen if those letters saw daylight. Still, he stayed. Still, he served, because loyalty, once sworn, is a difficult chain to break. October 17th, 1897. A night soaked in rain and thunder. The manor loomed in darkness, the wind howling through the chimneys like mourning ghosts. At dawn, a scream tore through the silence. The maid, pale as the sheets she clutched, had found Lady Margaret lying motionless on the carpet, her white gown soaked crimson. Jewels were missing. A drawer hung open, papers scattered like fallen leaves. But the real horror waited below, in the cellar. Charles Hensley, trembling, soaked in rain and blood, his uniform torn, his eyes hollow. He confessed, said it was an accident, said she mocked him, threatened to destroy him, said rage overtook him, only for a moment. The weapon? A silver candlestick, the same one he polished every night before serving her supper, the same one that once carried light, now carried death. When the Queen heard the news, she demanded silence. No newspapers, no trial spectacle. She could not allow scandal to crawl beneath the crown. The official record called it a servant's crime of passion. But among the palace walls, some whispered otherwise, because certain letters had vanished, and one bore a royal seal. Months later, a constable found something strange, a bundle of correspondence hidden beneath Lady Margaret's writing desk. Letters between her and someone signed only as D. One line stood out. If Hensley ever speaks of what he's seen, he must be removed. The crown cannot afford another scandal. That initial, D. Some believed it stood for the Duke of Clarence, the Queen's own nephew. A man with charm, power, and a history of secrets better buried than told. Could Charles have been manipulated? Used as a pawn in a game far above his station? Or did guilt twist his mind so completely that he imagined conspiracies where none existed? P. No one would ever know, because within weeks the letters vanished again, this time from police custody, and those who had seen them were suddenly reassigned, or worse, never seen again. On a fog-soaked morning at Newgate Prison, Charles Hensley took his final walk. The warden swore he went quietly. No fight, no plea, just a faint whisper as the trapdoor opened. "Tell Her Majesty, I kept my word." The rope snapped. The silence fell, and London moved on. But not the palace. For years after, maids swore they saw him, a shadow gliding through corridors long after midnight. A gloved hand polishing silver no one dared touch. A faint scent of candle wax where no flame burned. They said his spirit lingered, bound not by guilt, but by duty, still serving, still silent, protecting a secret that could have shattered the crown. The murder that shocked the Queen wasn't just about blood or betrayal. It was about the illusion of loyalty and how power hides its stains behind polished manners and royal smiles. Charles Hensley's story faded into history, but in the flicker of candlelight, on stormy nights when the palace halls whisper, some say the butler still waits, polishing the truth no one dares to speak. The Queen endured, but in the shadows of London, one truth remained. Even the quietest servant can hold the loudest secret.